All right, so as always, safety is priority, so let's go and do a quick safety moment. So let's make sure that everyone is in a safe location, and you're have a planned way to evacuate in case need be. Of course, if you have to, go ahead and do such. And again, is why we record these, so you can always catch up later. So I guess I'll go ahead and give a quick 20 seconds to, if you have someone around your desk or anything to trip over anything of that nature, I'd give you time to go ahead and make sure you have a safe route out of your current location. So we'll get started in about 15, 20 seconds. All right. Okay, so as always, just as a FYI, these meetings are being recorded for audio and visual for publication out on the website. So just quick, friendly reminder, just kind of be mindful what you say and that type of thing. Just because, again, like I said, it will be viewable for anyone who has access. So the first item on the agenda here, kind of talk about the fall consortium coming up right around the corner. I'm pretty sure that everyone has, I'm assuming either that's currently on this call or will be soon registering for the meeting, and hopefully be able to join in person. Will be great. Of course, if you haven't yet, I went ahead and added it to this communication. I believe it's actually in the other communication for last month as well, as far as the link to the fall consortium. If you still or would like to know what that is, and I'll see the dates are October 9th through the 12th. I believe that's a Monday through Thursday, if I remember right. And of course, travel in between. Yeah, I think on Monday it doesn't start until the afternoon, around 1 o'clock or somewhere around that. So, and I think if you go out to the link here, it'll also have the schedule, or the actual, not each room schedule, but the overall general session schedule, as far as what days, what time the breakouts are, and what the after committee activities are available and what times. Kind of some of the stuff I kind of want to let you guys know, just if you're interested in. I think it's kind of interesting with some of the statistics that I was kind of able to look up about, say, a week ago, or most of a week ago, but probably a couple of days ago, was that so far what I can tell, which is kind of a good thing, and just to show how much traction we're getting with this consortium, is like over 60% of attendees, this will be their first consortium. So over half the room will be brand new people to this consortium this year. And I think total wise, I didn't put that on here, but I think I remember somebody saying somewhere around the ballpark around 150, somewhere around there, 150 to 160, and probably would grow a little bit more as the coming days gets closer. So as far as turnout goes, that's great and a drastic improvement over last time. Also, it being all new folks as well, or people this is their first time attending, is kind of a great sign as well that we're getting momentum behind this, and this is kind of exciting. So far as I can tell, I think there's like 35 to 40 attendees in the P&C sessions by themselves. I think that was kind of on par as far as last year was concerned. I'm assuming also that we'll also have some additional individuals as well to join us on that. So hopefully, again, as we keep going with this and getting the momentum going, we start getting more and more individuals involved and kind of getting those bits of knowledge that's across our industry to be able to come together and discuss these things. So I guess I'll real quick kind of pause. Does anybody have any questions or anything about the consortium that I may be able to help you answer? If not, at least I can definitely take the question down and relay it to somebody who might know the answer if need be. I'll go open it up real quick for a second. Is anybody excited? I mean, I don't know. at least is away from, I guess, work and family, in a sense.
Definitely excited.
I know I am, at least, yeah. It's kind of a break from my hectic personal life. It's not that I don't enjoy being with my family. I really do. Sometimes of this, you just need a little bit of a break.
I know what you meant.
There you go. Especially with the young kids and everything. Yeah. But, good. Okay, so I guess to move on, does anybody not have anything? Or nobody has anything? So I guess we're all good with everything?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
All right. One thing I did want to talk about, or at least let folks know, at least on this call, and if anybody else is viewing this later, my plan was, and I think I talked to Randy already about this, or my hope is to try to get some type of broadcast or something of that nature set up for this consortium this year. I know there was a lot of conversation, or at least some discussion around trying to make some type of online offering, as far as if somebody can't make it in person and would still like to be involved in the kind of be involved within the content and the communication of it all. I'm trying to work with some of the folks at the hotel and kind of setting us up from San Diego Gas and Electric to see what options are available. Again, as of right now, I really don't have anything concrete because I don't really know what the internet bandwidth is like and all that type of thing. I think there's really no special software or anything of that nature that's been set up, or video cameras or nothing like that. So I think my plan, or my thought was, if I could, was to kind of do something similar to this, that basically have a go-to-meeting session that people can log into, and at least kind of see what's being presented, kind of maybe hopefully hear a little bit here and there on what's being discussed and be involved in the conversation. But I think there are some, I guess, limitations. A couple here I have detailed out here. Is that, one is the resources available, again, like bandwidth, computer processing, whatever, all that type of thing. I think my machine should be fine, but again, really my main concern is probably bandwidth more than anything. And then another big thing I know that most folks are probably would think about as well would be privacy concerns. So meaning, we're all kind of talking in a room, and it's also being broadcast over to folks that are also online. So again, I don't know if that really is a contention or an issue, but I got to make sure that we're okay with those type of things before I can definitely say that we're going to do this route. But I'm definitely trying to, so again, we can try to get more people involved who cannot make the trip either by financial or physical means that want to be involved. I think also the other thing is also the other limitation I do have is that if we do go this route and I'm able to do it with my current go-to-meeting session that we have, I have a limitation of 100 people, I think, is my max as far as people that can actually log in. So it might be something to where if we have more than that that's interested, which would kind of be awesome if that was the case, but if we do, then we might have to do something where it's a one login and then everybody at that company gets in a room and that type of thing, so we can keep the amount of folks down. But I'll let you guys know ahead of time if that's going to be available or if we're going to be doing that. So that way, when you do come into the room in San Diego, that you're aware that we are live broadcasting this thing out to people on the actual go-to-meeting session. Of course, there'll be folks that will be invited or be invited by their peers within their companies, but I know that me personally, I would like to know that type of thing. But of course, I'll let you guys know. I know something that we talked about, me and Randy, talked about on the phone a couple weeks back, and I know that was something I think was thought about last meeting to kind of think of an idea if it was possible. So just kind of give you a heads up on that. So I'm still kind of working on that, waiting on some details to come down. So one other thing I did kind of want to show you guys, I do have a preliminary agenda put together for our meeting as far as the breakout sessions go. So I kind of want to kind of show kind of what we have just so you can get an idea of what topics are going to be kind of discussed and talked about. Of course, this is not final. The final version, I would assume, will probably be going out in a couple weeks. I know I have to have mine finalized by the end of the week, and it goes out to the main committee chairs or the leadership committee, and then I believe they're going to broadcast that out through a newsletter or something of that nature. So I'm assuming a couple weeks or whatnot, but at least I want to go ahead and kind of give you guys a look at what I currently have together, and kind of, if you had any questions or anything, that we can kind of, discuss that. And then also just kind of jump to it real quick. I know last month I gave kind of everyone the kind of deadline of the end of last month to kind of give, if anybody wanted to demo anything that they're doing, or would like to share any knowledge that they would like to share during this. But I guess what I will say is that if you this kind of more or less a last call for any type of demo request. So even though I kind of said end of last month, I don't mind taking on any new ones if you would like to do that. And of course, I could shuffle things around to make sure that we have enough time for if anybody would like to show pretty much anything that you would like to show or even talk about. And that doesn't have to necessarily be a demo. Presentation or demo. So of course, if anyone on this call, or if anyone on this call knows anyone within the organization that's coming to the meeting that would like to present something or demo something, then by all means, please let me know. I definitely would say if you do plan on doing that, let me know no later than this Friday, just because that's kind of my deadline to give the agenda out to the leadership committee, so I can make sure that I'm pretty sure we'll have time. It's just a matter of putting it where it will kind of fit. I guess any questions or anything on the comments or anything I said so far from anybody?
Nope.
Okay. Now I have to get you guys talking that week that we're there somehow. I know everybody. Figure out some way that way. That's some.
Well, yeah, it does seem pretty quiet.
Yeah, it have a little bit of dialogue, but it's okay. I understand fully. All right, so let me go ahead and pull this over. I'm not going to really go through it in full-on detail, but of course, if anybody wants to know, you sure can ask. But I just kind of want to give you guys a rundown. So I think as we talked about before, this year we're going to go through what I kind of, I guess, envisioned was a beginner and an advanced sessions. So you kind of have more of the, I won't say basics, but some of the core functionality of getting AutoCAD electrical put together and using inside of a utility, and then transitioning over to a more advanced stage. So if you already have the product, you've been using it for a while, or even if you're kind of curious on where we're going with this as far as more advanced functions, I kind of have it broken out into two separate parts. So the first day, if you may or may not know, if you haven't seen the schedule already, so the first day really is more or less out of the box stuff for both Electrical Inventor and also for the SCS toolkits. I believe that first day is also will give you guys the opportunity and the availability to demo or even to play around with some of the toolkit functions, because it says training in the schedule, so I'm assuming that's what it is. Is where if you don't have the toolkits installed in your machines, then you might have the opportunity to play around in a sandbox environment, I think provided by SBS. So I think those opportunities will be available for you guys from 2 to 4 on that Monday. And then after the 2 to 4 Monday, we have our general session Tuesday morning, and then our breakouts happen. So the way I currently have it set up, and again, like I said, it's not set in stone, but I'm kind of playing around with some things here and there, and I did start kind of looking at some of the topics where it may kind of fall in between, I guess, advanced and beginners, depending on how you want to look at it. But it's trying to make sure we get a lot of a lot of meat to our meeting is what I guess my whole goal is. To make sure there's not too much to where it's overbearing, but at least enough information to where it's fruitful, hopefully, for everybody. So the Tuesday is kind of, again, starting with the beginner session 1 to 4. A good majority of it's probably going to be a lot of, I guess, it's going to be some demo plus some PowerPoint presentation explanations by me. Of course, kind of starting from the safety perspective, obviously the very first thing we want to go through, make sure that we have our exits identified, those type of things. We just want to make sure that, if anything happens, we know what to do. The course introductions, those type of things. And I kind of got here what was kind of introduction, short, simple, sweet, just kind of to the point, just kind of make sure everybody kind of gets to know everybody. And then the first thing kind of jump into is kind of what the purpose of ACADI is from a management's point of view. If you kind of got to tell your manager or management body what this thing is supposed to do, what's the point of it, what are your benefits, pros and cons, so forth, so on. So I'll detail some of that out. So hopefully, give you some good talking points if you're kind of at that point and stage in your implementation. Then kind of jumping in from there, kind of start going over some of the ACADI support file setups, kind of what the files mean, what they do, how they work, what can you use them for to better make your designs more efficient and standard. Really kind of just go around some of that. Going through some of the title blocks information, how you set them up, how they work, what information is being used, transferring that data into Vault, so that way if you have to do any type of job packs or anything, I think we call them, or basically transmittals, I guess that's the word I was thinking of, out to the field, how you get that information from Vault to actually getting it out to your field folks in a document of some sort. So to kind of talk about how that transfer between ACADI and Vault and that data. ACADI components, kind of going through those, the requirements, kind of letting everybody know what the agreed upon family codes are if you don't know, and where it's located at. I believe that, I know for sure us at Duke, and I believe pretty positive that Southern and I think Nashville as well has been using these. So kind of the industry standard document we put together, what they are, what they mean. Same thing with the pin list, and also some standard attributes of things and kind of how they work. Then going into the wiring diagrams, talking about two different methods, an XREF method versus a wiring attribute method. So two ways of basically putting wiring information into your wiring diagram blocks and what the benefits and pros and cons are and all those type of things for that type of device. Going to linking your schematic to wiring the panel. So kind of talk about what the program is or what you need to do or how you need to set things up to make sure that your schematic parts and pieces are talking to the wiring and panel stuff and vice versa. What pieces of data does it use? What pieces of information absolutely has to be on one versus the other, that type of thing. And also, too, we have a couple vendors that wants to demo some of their stuff. So I have a vendor demo slot for an hour. I think it was like an hour, 45 minutes, somewhere around there. So I have a vendor slot both for the first day of beginner and the first day of advanced. So that way both parties can be able to kind of see a vendor demo. I do not know what the demos are as of right now. I think Schweitzer is a sponsor this year. Not sponsor, well, I think it's a sponsor, I think is the word, might be wrong. But I know that they probably wanted to show some things maybe about some of the new relaying and that type of deal. So I think it would be pertinent to make sure they talk to you guys and maybe not really the physical folks. So I'm kind of waiting on a list from David Milks to kind of let me know who's doing what, so that way we can try to schedule as best we can. So it's kind of like the end of the first half day, I guess you can kind of think about it. Then Wednesday we roll back into beginner sessions. Again, talking, safety as always is paramount. So kind of quick 5 minutes just to make sure if anybody's new that we all are on the same page again. Then start going into some of the raster stuff. So talk about some of the smart nodes, some of the toolkit tie links, kind of what the pros and cons are and how they differ, and how you can still utilize some of the functionality if you choose or if you don't have the toolkits yet, still get some of the benefit from using smart nodes, how you create it, that type of thing, what data needs to go where. Then kind of going from there, talking about the ACADI material handling. So how do you manage, or kind of what the catalog database is, the footprint database is, how those are utilized, how the program uses those. So basically, again, trying to make sure that we kind of get things set up and are being used as expected. So your end user, or if you are the end user, then you can actually utilize and grab your material information effectively. Then keep going. So again, next step will be your bill of materials. So kind of discuss around what .set files are, how you set them up, where you kind of need to store them, how the end user uses it, and then also reporting. So some of the reporting functions that you may or may not know about, how you can set some of that up, some of the outputs, customizations, those type of deal. Then also, so next thing will be your integration into Vault. So that basically be kind of how Vault is set up with ACAD-E as far as categories, states, revisions, folder structure. We have, I know for us at Duke, we have a custom Git download set up that I'd like to show you guys that maybe you want to adopt, or there's also a workplace sync option that's available, I believe, that Southern uses, along with the Git checkout as well. So it kind of gives some demos and some explanations around those, and kind of, again, to kind of give you some options and kind of let you know what they're used for. And then also the kind of the big thing after all this stuff is set up, then how some example workflows of the content and project drawings. So how they go into Vault, how they get managed, how you use them, check them out, just kind of the interaction with ACAD-E and the Vault product as well. Then lastly of the beginner session is kind of your support structure. So after you implemented all this stuff, how do you support it? Or how do you kind of build a support structure around this new product that's foreign to a lot of folks? So kind of go over some of the ideas I know that we implemented at Duke that might help you guys out as well. So I know some things that I wanted to kind of talk about is kind of some of your form request setups that you can create for requesting parts, pieces, and those type of things. Utilizing some Microsoft SharePoint functionalities to keep track and kind of manage some data and manage some things. Kind of your documentation, how to kind of some thoughts around your documentation workflows, what things you might want to document, and also your support groups. So what type of groups or what type of individuals would you like to get together and kind of help you support the product, give you insights, the groups that are, you might want to think about or discuss with your management around creating to support it from a software point of view, even to a philosophical point of view, it's kind of those discussions. So that's kind of the beginner sessions of all that. Again, like I said, some of the stuff might kind of fall into the advanced stage as well, but I was kind of trying to keep it in line with progression of how you would do a project with it, or I was trying to. So it's kind of some of those topics, and then Wednesday will kind of be the first day of the, I guess, quote unquote, advanced side. So that'll start Wednesday afternoon at 1 to 5, so right after lunch. Again, going over safety and going through introductions again, just because at that point stage we might have some individuals from other groups come in. Just want to make sure, if we need to, let some other folks know that who everybody is, just in case, the camaraderie part of it. Then after that, kind of going a little bit deeper dive into the system. So working with the catalog browser out of the box. I do have a demo that I can show as far as how we're utilizing the actual catalog browser a little bit differently than what it was designed for initially by Autodesk, but still be able to get some great results out of it. So kind of go through some of that. Also have another demo as far as creating and using the bill of material status tool, kind of in-house built, but it uses simple Lisp and script routines to kind of help mark and identify things that are installed versus removed and those type of things. I know that's a requirement for us within our systems, so it might be something that, if it's a requirement for you as well, that you can take and kind of utilize. Again, if you don't have the ability or you don't have the funding to get the toolkits as well, then I kind of wanted to make sure that we have some other options to still get some of the functionality out of that as well. And going into, I have a feeder edition video demo as far as adding a new feeder edition to a station, and kind of showing how you can do that with some of the out-of-the-box functionality and still use some mass wildcard editing functions to kind of get some of that still built and created and put down pretty easily. And that's, I think I have Nate down. Pretty sure you've got some new stuff as far as the SBS toolkits are concerned. I know that last month he kind of showed some stuff, but still had a whole bunch of stuff on his plate. I think if I remember right, they kind of skipped over or couldn't have a chance to walk through. So kind of want to give him the opportunity to kind of show what's new in the toolkits, maybe some existing functionality that, especially since 60% of the consortium is brand new users, they haven't seen it before. To kind of do that, and I think he also has some new stuff in the works as well that he might want to show. So that's kind of that giving him an hour or so to kind of go through all that. Maybe it might be less than that, but kind of be able to show the toolkits and what their functionalities are. Got a demo slash video, I think it is now, from Randy as far as using the master and child reference blocks, using those from the toolkits, kind of showing those how they work. And then lastly for the day, again, have another slot for our vendors. I think, like I said, there's another vendor that would like to show their stuff, so we can give them a slot for that as well on the Wednesday at the end of the day. So then Thursday is again kind of continuation of the advanced session, kind of going into a roundtable wrap up towards the end as well. So Thursday morning is our last day of breakout. Again, safety moment, go through the UDH hub. I think I got Trevor pinged to kind of give us a demo of that if you haven't seen it yet. It's kind of another add-on or plug-in from the SBS suite of tools. I think it basically manages your work orders and those type of things. So give them he wanted the opportunity to show that for AutoCAD Electrical. Then I've got Tim Timler from Empirical showing a demo around intelligent device contact tables. And let me see, Courtney. I'm not going to try to say her last name. I'm probably going to butcher it. So I was going to say Miss Courtney from Entergy. I wanted to show a standard distribution tap station demo. I think I haven't heard from her yet on how long that may take, but once I get that, I can add that in here. But I'm pretty, she wanted to kind of give a demo of their standard distribution tap station and AutoCAD Electrical, I believe. Another thing, I think I know I threw this in kind of towards the end, but I kind of trying to find out where it kind of fits. But next thing is kind of talking about training. So I know one thing that we're going through that I think it would be good to talk about and kind of get some ideas around as far as how you attack it. Not really necessarily who you need to go with, but it's kind of more or less how, what type of trainings are available. There's different training levels I know that we put together and kind of what they mean. And also there's out of the box versus in-house workflows. And so it's kind of some of the discussion around maybe some training sessions and how you might want to handle some of that. And I know that we can we can definitely talk about how we're handling it, and I'm pretty sure Southern can as well, and plus anyone else that's gone through it already. Then kind of going, so that's kind of more or less all the kind of, I guess, discussion / demos or presentations. And then kind of towards the back end of the morning, start hitting some of the roundtable discussions around the engineering checks continued discussion that we started last year. I'm sorry, not last year, but this past year in April. So I do know that there's some current checks that are built in that folks may or may not know about around, I think Randy graciously has agreed to help me out with some of the demoing on this. So I know there's a grounding tool, the CT ratio, and then a phase-to-phase check. So Randy's gracious enough to kind of help us, or at least be able to demo some of that, so you guys have an idea of what current checks are available. And then I think the big thing I know we've talked about over the past couple months is kind of bringing up the next round of design checks, which really is kind of going around the rating attributes and kind of talk about if we can try to standardize on as an industry, what ratings equals what value inside of which family, and kind of put a list together. And in that way, the benefits of that mainly is to be able to give that to a developer like SBS or any other developer that's could be creating toolkits or something in the future. And also to help us when we start creating content, they can actually use those values to do calculations that we would like to do, like the voltage drop and making sure there's enough protection on a line and all that type of good thing. So, but unfortunately, they do need to know what information to pull, and if we have it in all different places, it's kind of hard to build a button, let's say, or a new function to do those design or engineering checks, or even design checks as well, if the data is not consistent. So I think if we can talk about getting that standardized would be great, or at least start. I believe we kind of started a little bit in April, but maybe start making it a little bit more granular than we had. Also, then the next thing is kind of going through the current standards that have been approved by the council. And when I say council, I mean more or less this P&C committee, and kind of go through, okay, these are the ones that we have, making sure that, okay, are we good to go with making this final. So I'd like to send those two off to the leadership committee so they can be signed and sealed and done with, which will be the two I got listed here. And then, of course, not lastly but not least, is any type of lessons learned anybody would like to talk about. That either implementation or training or personnel or organizational issues, whatever. That's we'd like to maybe talk about on making sure that folks either make sure they stay away from or they try to embrace, to kind of help bring it forward in your company. And then, of course, any additional topics. So I know I kind of run through pretty quickly, and I know I talk pretty fast, so hopefully everyone could understand me. So kind of in a nutshell, what I got down, I believe it will fill out our time. That's a lot of stuff to go through. So like I said, I wanted to make sure that we have stuff to talk about. We're not really just sitting in a room twiddling our thumbs, so that way we have things to kind of go over. And also the way I have it broken out as far as beginner and advanced, I do want to give you guys the opportunity, if you want to be able to venture out and go check out the other committees as well, if you would like, and vice versa. So if any of the other groups would like to send their folks over to our side to look at a particular item, then I want to make sure that we have that ability to do such by kind of breaking these things out into two separate sections. So that's kind of my overall list at the moment, and it may change. It's kind of, I would say, kind of baked so far, but might be moving some stuff around and that type of thing. And of course, like I said at the very beginning, if there's anybody else who would like to show anything specific and get it down on the agenda, by all means, please let me know and I'll add that. But the one thing, like I said earlier in the meeting, is I would like to have that no later than the end, say Friday, so that way I can make sure that I have it added to the agenda if you would like to. And again, it don't have to be a demo; it can just be a presentation, a discussion, or even a roundtable topic if you would like. It doesn't really, there's really no limit there. So I guess I'll ask real fast, are there any questions or anything about the agenda for the meeting next month from anybody?
Jared, you may have answered this, but who's doing the first day training?
Talking about the Monday?
Yeah, like the beginners training.
Yeah, the Monday training or the out-of-the-box sessions, I believe that Randy Burnett is doing the AutoCAD electrical side. The inventor, I do not know, and I'm assuming Nate is going to be doing the SBS stuff.
Okay.
And that's my assumption, but I know for a fact Randy is doing the AutoCAD electrical out of the box, but the toolkits and the inventor, I really don't know. But if you would like to know, I'll definitely ask.
No, I was just wondering. I mean, I wouldn't be there, but I was curious who was doing the training.
Yeah, I think that's who's doing it, as far as I know. Anybody have anything else? Okay, so I guess we'll at least all agree with what I have on the paper.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. Again, like I said, I'm trying to think what we would like to see without, unfortunately, not getting, we're getting feedback, but it's kind of spotty here or there. So I just want to make sure that we're going through topics that folks would like to see, and I know sometimes you may not know what you need to see either, so I understand that part as well. But of course, like I said, I just want to make sure that, again, if there's any thoughts that someone would like to add to this, by all means, please let me know, and we can definitely try to find a slot somewhere for it and throw it in there. Alrighty. So again, like I said, this should be definitely ironed out, baked out for sure by the end of the week. And I think, like I said, in a couple of weeks, you should see a finalized agenda come out prior to your travels to San Diego. All right, so to get back to there we go. All right, so with that, that's pretty much all I have for this meeting. I kind of really didn't want to go over anything specific just because, again, like I said, we're meeting next month, so didn't want to leave anything half-baked or half-done. And kind of just give you guys a heads up on kind of what to expect. So hopefully, I guess I would definitely encourage you guys to kind of, once the agenda goes out, maybe, get together with your peers and your management or your and kind of maybe come up with a list of questions and things that you might have. So again, if we don't go over a particular area of interest, we can kind of make sure we do that. At least hopefully this will kind of give you an idea on what topics, again, like I said, we're going to be going over and be able to kind of build some questionnaires around if you would like to. So with that, is there any final questions, comments, concerns from anyone?
Nope, not from my side.
Okay, awesome. I guess, Randy, you got anything you want to say?
Good job, Jared.
Appreciate it.
I'm ready.
It. Oh yeah, definitely.
I think the
I'm kind of nervous
looks
about
good.
it happening, but I kind of can't wait till it happens, and I definitely can't wait till it finishes, so I can at least kind of take breathers for a little bit, but that's all right.
It's a good agenda. I think we got a lot to talk about, and there shouldn't be any dead space in there. And we may not even get to all of it because of questions and things, but I think it's a good agenda.
And I think I was kind of making sure too that we built in was at least some times of questions, and obviously there's going to be an ample time for restroom breaks, so don't worry. I do know that in the past I have been told that I don't give people restroom breaks because I just keep kind of plowing through. But I do know I got to be respectful to folks whose bladders that may not be as useful as they used to be. So,
amen.
So we'll make sure we have enough breaks here and there. And of course, I guess I also want to make the statement as well. Like, if you have to get up and leave for any reason, please just go ahead and do such. I mean, it's not like we'll point you out or anything. So definitely, if you got to get out for any reason, then by all means, please do so. If we don't get to one in time. So with that, I guess if no one has anything, again, I'll go and say it again. I'll say it 3 or 4 times a day. But again, if anybody has anything they want to talk about and then put it to the agenda, again, like I said, just let me know by the end of the week, and I'll definitely add it. And kind of just kind of a rough idea of how long you think it may take. So again, that way I can shift things around if times are not falling out quite right. So I won't keep you any longer than I have to. So I appreciate your time and can't wait to actually be able to meet most of you folks actually in person again, or for the first time if I haven't met you before. And safe travels and all that good stuff. And we'll see you on the 9th or 10th, hopefully. So have a good rest of the afternoon.
All right. Have a good one.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you, Edit.
Thank you, sir.